How you doing? This is our first
I'm
time
good,
like
man.
ever really interacting.
Nah, it's good, dude. We're good. I'm good. Been a busy week, but I was sick for the past couple weeks. Well, not a couple weeks, but the week before this one, just recovering, man. And so I'm finally like on the mend, so I'm not feeling like garbage anymore.
Oh, that's good. I mean, I feel like there's like it's always I live in Texas, so whenever like the weather really shifts, there's always a period of time where like I'm like, okay, I'm starting to feel groggy, like had a headache for the past 4 days, and it's like just finally getting over it.
Yeah, it was weather change and then just moving, like being around complex like I was at Complexcon and being around all the people, shaking hands, meeting all the people.
Yeah.
It's like bound to get sick.
I was complex. I've never been, so like I'm always curious how people like experience complex con because it looked bigger than ever this year to my eyes.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, this was my first one I've ever done, and I mean, it's huge. I mean, everybody's there, and it kind of feels like I don't know, like you run into people that you know, and it's just like feels like a big like kind of like class reunion almost. It's like, oh hey, I remember you. Like I haven't seen you in a while. Like it's just I don't know. It just feels good to catch up with people, and then like the brand stuff on top of that was really cool too.
Yeah, I feel like that's like the best part about since creating content, being a part of like an experience. I kind of tell people now it's like I want to be a part of more experiences versus like just being sent product. Product is always good. Don't get me wrong.
For
Product is
sure, for sure.
it's always going to be great, but I feel like that experience is something that you'll never be able to like part ways with. Like this year, I got invited to Vegas by Cash App to go to a Kendrick concert. I'm just like that's always
Heck
going
yeah.
to be a part of my life now. Like I remember that exact moment, so it's a dope thing.
Yeah, those moments and events, like it's cool. I mean, we're all online so much, so it's nice to be like offline and just like interact with people, get the good vibes that come from being around good people. So it's always good.
Yeah, and I feel like I told myself next year will be the year. That will be my first complex con because I feel like that's like what this sneaker community kind of needs, like that aspect of like being with each other, kind of experiencing things. Even though people, real rowdy about complex cons, top sneaker lists.
Yeah,
Um,
always.
but it's like, I mean, it creates a conversation. I mean, I talked about it obviously, and multiple people that I follow, whether it be YouTube or Instagram, like we all talked about it. So like it creates a buzz, but it's always so unique. Every time it happens, it's just like Instagram goes in a frenzy.
Oh man, it's so funny. 'Cause I remember I was sitting in the room where they had the panel, and before it starts, I like take a picture, post it on Twitter. It was like timeline about to be real upset.
How do you personally feel? I mean, we go get into a bunch, but I'm just like curious about just being there in that moment, them announcing the top 10 or like the top sneakers, and then this being your first one. Like, how did it feel to be like kind of a part of it as it was kind of happening in real time?
I mean, it was cool. I think a lot of people they see the list and like this is whack, but then like being there in the room, like hearing the dialogue between everybody on the panel. Not everybody agreed with everything, so it was interesting to hear people's takes on like why the shoe was good or why the shoe wasn't, or what alternative shoes that they would have picked instead of this shoe. So it's like yeah, we see the order, but when you get down and hear like the justification or the reasoning for or against, it makes it that much more like, I don't know, meaningful. Just hearing those people's opinions about it.
Cool. What is one definite shoe from that top 10 list that was absolutely deserved? Like we can debate order, we can debate other sneakers that should have been there. Like, but what's one that's like that one made sense? I was like, oh, okay,
I
that
mean,
makes sense.
it's been everywhere. It's brick by bricks, man. Like that's easily like it because like when did those come out? March, and
Early.
like yeah, and ever since they hit, like people have been talking about them consistently. You see them on people's feet consistently. Like that shoe has been everywhere this year. So, like anybody who has like upset feelings about that being the sneaker of the year, like cool. Like I get we all have our personal tastes and stuff like that, but by far, collectively, in all of sneakerdom, like that was the shoe.
Nah, I think for me it was the Infinite Archive. That
Dude,
17 making it to a top 10 list. And honestly, even when the shoe dropped, this is, prior to Complexcon even dropping that list, I was like, this is the first time a 17 is in my Grail list. This is the first time this ever happened. Like that shoe killed on every single packaging, the overall sneaker design, the rollout for it, like everything about that shoe was perfect. So when I seen it, I was like, oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, like personally, I have that shoe higher. Like that shoe's top 3 for me this year.
Yeah.
Just because, man, like you said, like it's refreshing. And I'm not trying to like dog on anybody, but like anytime you get a fresh perspective on like a retro, especially a 17, like who does a 17, right? Um, like you could have had a layup with like a Jordan 4, like a Jordan 3, but no, you did it on a 17, and the way that it was done, like it's beautiful.
Yeah. And I'm always a fan of just like doing things that's like not the stereotypical. Like I feel like in my
Yes.
channel on YouTube in particular, I'm always like, okay, I get it. The Jordan 1 is just that is the shoe. I understand that. But what else is there? Because like I'm a big fan of Jordan 14s. Like I need a pair of last shots. And I feel like the 14 really doesn't get the love. But I feel like this year we saw a lot of shoes get retroed. I mean, basically every shoe under the sun got retro this year. So
Goodness, man, it was a crazy. Jordan didn't pull out any like they didn't. They're like all gas, no brakes going into 26 too. Like it's
yeah.
wild to see. And like I was looking back at like some of the stuff, like even Jordan ones. Like we had the black toes, like with the story with the Air Jordan on the side. Like
Hmm.
bringing those back. And since it's a Jordan 1, like people kind of moved on from that. And then those reimagined UNCs, like those were beautiful
Oh
too.
yeah, 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 yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, it's been, I mean, black metallic fives. We had flu games this year that people forget about, like all this stuff. We had a lot of good stuff with Jordan this year.
Yeah. I think for me though, the one criticism I would give it is the percentage of like Nike affiliates that are up there. Cause I love Saucony, I love Asics, I love um even Solomon's, even though that's kind of like a weird space of like being sneakers and then also being mountaineering, hiking type shoes. But I'm just like, there were so many good Sauconys that dropped this year. It was ridiculous. And to not even get, one of those sneakers up there was kind of like, okay, like, I get it. It's like this just feels like a Nike list at this point.
Yeah, that's definitely the vibe that was in the room too. People are like, "What?" Like one non like Nike owned company up there. It's like, okay, yeah, because dude, I agree with you with Saucony too. Because I forgot like Jay Tips did 2 shoes this year. Like he had his Triumphs, then he had those Jazzes early in the year too. And then I love those that 3-pack of those Gloa constrictors on the Omni 9s.
Ooh,
There's
do
like
I
the
know what that is?
green and the purple, and then like the black that had like the metallic. It was like a Year of the Snake
Yeah,
kind
yeah,
of.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
those were fire. I love those. Like they did a really really good job on those.
Nah, yeah, they popped off. I mean, they've been popping off for like the past 2 years. Even just like a New Balance. Like I was like, I'm thinking about all the sneakers that dropped this year. I mean, it's been a heavy year for sneakers. I feel
Good.
like not even a New Balance, not even a Saucony. I would even give Puma some credit for even kind of like inching their way back into like people's kind of like view. But yeah, it was a very interesting list. I mean, everybody's gonna have their own list. I think that list always does create some type of some type of
Yeah.
controversy in some degree.
We'll talk that. I mean, they do every year, so they're definitely good at getting the conversation going. And I think it's partially because they're like the first ones to like get a list out like that from a major publication company like that. So yeah, it's interesting. Like for me personally, I was like, man, I could do 2 top 10 lists, like first half of 2025 and then second half of
Mm.
2025. Because seriously, every month there's great stuff releasing every single month.
It just is interesting 'cause I didn't, drop this in the list of questions that I want to ask, but like, do you ever feel some type of buyer fatigue like going into like because I feel like from 20 I would say 2022. Like early pandemic, things were kind of weird. And then like 2021, like it started to pick up more. But I feel like since 2022, I feel like there's been so many, like almost like you could say month to month, but I feel like week to week, it's like something I should be caring about. So like, do you ever feel buyer's fatigue when it comes to like how many sneakers are being released?
A little bit, like I kind of around, I would say like 23 or 24, it's like, you get that FOMO. Like it's always there. It's like, oh man, I need this shoe. Like everyone's talking about this shoe. I want this shoe. I like this shoe. But then like I started to separate myself from like all of that stuff. I was like, do you really like this shoe? Like, is this something that you will genuinely like keep for a long time and that you will wear? And if the answer is no, then it's okay to let it go. Because there's so many things that come out. Like if you're still feeling it, if it's still on your mind 6 months later, it's not that hard to reach back right now. Like you could reach back, maybe pay a little bit over retail and get that shoe if it's still on your mind. But you know, it's in the moment, it's constantly in your face, in the forefront of your mind. But then as soon as it's like off social media and people aren't talking about it anymore, are you going to think about it anymore? So yeah, a little bit, like definitely some buyer's fatigue, but I'm trying to be more like specific and intentional about stuff that like I legit will want to wear and keep. This year I've been going through, like I got a pile over here of shoes that I'm not wearing and I need to get rid of, either donate or, throw them up on eBay or something. So I'm being really specific about what I'm picking up so that I can keep it. It's something that I'm going to appreciate for a long time.
I don't want to brush past that. This man said a pile.
Bro, it's
A
I don't know how many,
pile.
it's pretty big.
Yeah. I have that issue of like, my grandmother, she was a hoarder. So like, just like being around her, growing up around her, now I want to get rid of things. If I'm not wearing it in a week, I'm like, okay, it's time to probably get rid of that. Like I get rid of stuff so fast now because like I don't like clutter. So like
Yeah,
I'm very intentional as well about like the sneakers I like, the clothes I even buy, because I don't like junk. Like if I'm not
dude.
wearing it,
Yeah.
if I'm not reaching for it, I'm like, okay, it's probably time to get out of here.
That's it, man. And I feel like, I'm not saying everyone in sneakers is a hoarder, but like it's borderline sometimes for some of us. Like we're just holding on to stuff and it's like, I don't even remember I have this shoe anymore, but I have it. It's like, okay, at that point, like you need to do some organization and get things figured out. Like it's crazy these people that have like, 600-700 pair collection. I'm just like, unless you have like this massive space to organize it all, man, I couldn't handle
Yeah.
that stuff.
Because I want to wear them. That's like my
Yeah.
whole thing. I don't care how much a sneaker costs, what's the resale value. I want to wear them. So if I'm not reaching to wear them, it like it's like almost instantaneously. Like I'll like go in my closet, I'll look and I'm like, I ain't seen those in a while. I'm like, yeah, it's time to get out of here. I'm like, it's
Yep.
time to
Yep.
get out of here.
That's it.
Uh
Like,
I am curious though. Actually, no, I'll kind of say that for a little bit later. But where are you originally from?
I'm originally from Idaho, so
Okay.
like smallish town, Pocatello, Idaho, southeast Idaho. You don't think sneakers when you think of Idaho. So, but that was where I was at, and I love sports and stuff. Growing up, played a lot of basketball all through high school, and I think that was my gateway into sneakers, because I'd always be paying attention to like what my teammates were wearing on court or like what other players were wearing on court, and then looking through East Bay magazines, seeing like what was highlighted in those magazines, and it's like wanting that kind of stuff because there were no stores. Like we had a small Foot Locker in our mall that has just gone downhill, and so eventually that Foot Locker left, and so we had nothing there except East Bay.
Got you. Now East Bay is a vibe, man. They need to bring
Yeah.
that back. They need to like bring it back to like, I don't know. I feel like sneaker culture kind of got like it got interesting once like you stop having to go into stores and get the like raffle and like being hands on. That's why I feel like I like the idea of Complexcon, because like the people who care about the culture of sneakers is like all in one spot. Dang, I lost my train of thought. You had said something I wanted to touch on it again.
No, you're good.
Damn. But yeah, overall, so into sports. Are we close in age?
I'm 30. Oh, how old am I now? Hold up. 38.
Oh, that's
I know. Like, I forget. It's like late 30s. Like, wait, I had my birthday recently. What is it again?
Nah, I feel like there's moments. It's like 18, 21, and after that, it's just like you start
It's
to
a
get
blur.
like whatever. I'm
Yeah.
29, so okay.
Okay.
So you like, just average like you like around my older brother's age, because it's like it's interesting like being in different pockets and seeing how people interact with sneakers. Because like I used to be on like 23 is back and like being on
Mm-hmm.
Craigslist, like meeting up with like people in different cities and going with my cousin to like trade sneakers. So like you're even a little bit older than that. So I'm like, it's just interesting seeing how like, you know, kids today is like Grail, Depop, StockX, GOAT. But like prior to that, like you had to like really be like you had to really want it to go get
Yeah,
that shoe.
you had to go after like hunting back then. Like, you know, people say hunt down like pairs you want. Like hunting back then is way different than it is now. Now it's just like you Google search like whatever shoe it is, you got a gajillion listings of like all the used versions, all the new versions. It's like, oh, okay, that one works for that price. Cool, I got it. Like it's very quick.
Yeah.
But yeah, like man, like I growing up in Idaho, I didn't even know like what certain shoes were unless it was in an East Bay magazine. So like when we would travel for basketball and stuff, I would see people wearing like some of these Jordans, and I'm like, what the heck are those? Like, how do I get those? Where do you even get those from? It's like, yeah, there was just like this mystique about some of these things that I had no clue about because again, Idaho, man, like there's no stores, there's no like sneaker culture where I grew up. So it was just like you were trying to figure it out. And this was like before you could Google search things or like look things up. So it was just like you trying to connect the dots of trying to find out what some of these shoes were.
Yeah, don't let that person in that other team, don't let him drop 30. It's like, yeah, I need to go get those shoes, bro.
Yeah, I need to go get
I need
those
to go
shoes
get
now.
those shoes. All right, cool, man. All right, what's going on, man? It's your boy, Kloth, and I'm back with another video, man. Look, if I'm not starting somewhere, I am not going nowhere. And this gonna be another segment of Kloth Talk. Now, again, Kloth Talk is just where I grab the article titles from Hypebeast and Complexcon. It's all talking about sneakers, fashion, all that jazz I love talking about, and I bring people on who have those same passions. I'm going to keep it real. I won't accept anyone saying they've never seen this man's work. I'm talking about whether it be Asics, Adidas, Jordans, Sauconys, Pumas. I don't care what sneaker company you can think of. He has probably done something to some degree with that sneaker and showcased it on a different level. I've been following this man's career for a very long time. Actually, you and now I hate that I'm gonna butcher his name wrong because I never know how to pronounce it, but that Arab Lincoln, two people who have heavily influenced, you know, I take sneaker pictures from, you know, here or there whenever I have time to do it, but I mean, truly a GOAT in the sneaker space, bro. I think on my podcast, especially, I try to give people flowers. If I've been following your work and I've been paying attention to what you're doing and seeing the influence that you have on like other people as well, I'm just like, I got to give flowers. I got to give credit where credit's due. We have none other than Andrew Dutton. That's how you pronounce it, right?
Yes, sir.
Andrew Dutton, aka Ass Sneaks on social media, man. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. We're living. It's Saturday, so it's nice.
Yeah, no, Saturday. I feel like, and we'll get into this later, but I feel like, you know, I work a regular 9-to-5 job, and then I also do social media on the side. Like I feel like a lot of people do. And I feel like the weekend is solely just like trying to catch up on a project or catch up on a video. Then it's like, damn, I got work tomorrow. Once Sunday hits, I'm like, damn, I got work tomorrow. What the fuck? So I'm sure you feel that to some degree. But you know, I'm always curious, you know, learn a little bit about you as far as like playing basketball, you know, how old you are. Like, where does like that love for sneakers really start for you? I know you said basketball, but I feel like basketball, sneakers, and like just sneakers as a whole it doesn't necessarily lead you down a path of like loving sneakers. Like it's just sometimes it's just the shoes that I wear to play basketball, shoes that I hoop in. So like where does like that love for sneakers like really start for you?
I think like so it kind of stems from basketball because like growing up, like I would play, you know, I played organized basketball all growing up, and my parents would get me, you know, whatever shoe I could get for the basketball season. And I love that shoe. And this was at the time of like when like performance basketball shoes were also like you wear them off court and it's like, oh, okay, I see you. So this was like, you know, some of those early like retro Jordans, like Legend Blue 11s when they first were like popping off. I remember like Iverson Answer 4s were like popping off. And so like for me, where like the love of sneakers like kind of transitioned off of the court was at the end of basketball season when I could wear my basketball shoes off the court. I could wear them to school. I could wear them out with my friends. And like, yeah, they were cooked from wearing them in basketball, but like, that was like a feeling of like, oh, I got a new pair of shoes that I can wear, not just on the basketball court, because I didn't have a lot of shoes to just wear to school and stuff. It was like, okay, you get your back to school pair, but then you get excited because it's like, oh, basketball season's over. Now I got two pairs. Like I got my school pair and I got this other pair that I can wear. So now I can like, you're feeling yourself a little bit like, oh, how am I going to wear these? How am I going to wear these kind of things? So that transition from basketball season to just like chilling and being able to wear stuff off court, that really like, I'd say that really like sparked me. Probably around like middle school age is when I started like paying attention to that kind of stuff.
Okay, middle school. I find that's like for a lot of people, that's like their coming of age, like period of life, like whether it be like the friend group or like the things that they actually have interest in. So do you have like a memory of like that first sneaker, like that first where it's like that aha moment of like, no, these are crazy.
Can't remember what the shoe was, but I remember it. I think I was in like fifth or sixth grade. I got up that morning and I had like my crisp new pair of basketball shoes. I was like, man, I want to wear these to school. I know I'm not supposed to, but I want to wear these to school. And I remember like leaving the house to walk to school, and my dad was leaving for work. So I was like, oh crap, he's going to see that I got my basketball shoes on. He's going to get upset at me for having my basketball shoes on. But he didn't say anything, and I wore them to school. And I felt like, pretty confident about myself that I was able to wear those to school without getting in trouble. But yeah, it was probably that. And then I can't remember what grade it was, but it was when like my first like basketball shoe I wore off the court that I was like, okay, I like these. It was Kevin Garnett's first shoe he did with Nike.
Ooh, now you talking about something I'm completely unaware of. Hold on.
Yeah, you got to Google that one. It looks kind of like it has like the Nike swoosh on the back, has kind of some paneling that people say it looks similar to like a Jordan 13.
Oh yeah, I know what these are. Never mind, I'm tripping.
Yeah, those ones. That was like the first shoe that I was like, okay, these are significant. These aren't just like some generic basketball shoe. Like that was a shoe that kicked it off from that perspective. But like what really had me wanting like shoes off the court was I saw a guy, because again, growing up in Idaho, no sports, nothing. Like what we had for entertainment was high school sports. And so I remember going to high school basketball games with my dad, and I saw this dude on one of the teams wearing Laney 5s. And I was like, those are the most beautiful shoe I've ever seen. What are those? I don't even know what those are. And so it took me, I don't know how many years to figure out what that shoe even was. And then let alone trying to figure out how to get that shoe. Like that was where it was like, I knew I liked sneakers because I was trying to figure out what a shoe was for a long time to try and like get that shoe. It wasn't just like, oh, that's cool, whatever, move on to the next thing. Like that was the one that just like grabbed my attention and held on to me and, created this problem that we got behind me right now.
I mean, that's a pretty impressive wall. So I'm curious though, because like I feel like there's like a lot of intersections at which like sneakers kind of like the reason somebody would get into sneakers, like there's many different roadmaps. Like, so there can be the sports element, but then also at the time, especially during the 90s, like the music back then, like talking about like a lot of rappers talking about what sneakers they're rocking. I'll think of like film and TV. Like I think of like the Martin Show or like, even Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, like these major moments where shoes are getting displayed on screen. So like, were you like witnessing that as well off the court?
Yeah, so like I remember like watching Space Jam, right? Like what MJ was wearing, like and all that stuff. And I remember being the kid that's like, it's not just the 11s, like look at these shoes, like there's these 9s, and then like Bill Murray's wearing these 2s, and like look at what like Charles Barkley and Larry Johnson were wearing in there, and like all these things. So I was nerding out about that as a kid when Space Jam came out. Like we had that on VHS, and that was like my favorite movie to go back and watch as a kid. But yeah, for me, it was really heavy on basketball. But then like looking back as an adult at those times too, like just that feeling that you get when you wear a shoe It just gives you like a certain confidence, right? Like, especially as a kid, it's like, even if nobody like knows what this shoe is, like, I love this shoe and it makes me feel good. And if it makes me feel good, then like there's no other reason than that I should be able to explain to people why I like this shoe. And so yeah, just feeling good, wearing certain shoes. And you know, I didn't dress that great back in high school and stuff. I was like the typical jock kid that was wearing like, I had an insane collection of like NBA team basketball shorts. Like that was all I wore, with like oversized hoodie or oversized t-shirt, and then whatever sneaker I could get to go with it. Like that was it. But I felt good about myself. Like, was it great looking back now? Probably not, but you know, I was feeling good about myself.
Man, who was really dressing good in high school at this point? I don't think I
Nah.
look back at some of my pictures. I'm like, I don't know what the hell I was thinking. I can't believe my mom let me walk outside like this. That's like
Yep.
when I look at old pictures, I'm like, how the hell did I? But then it's also like, I think people forget when you look back at old pictures, like that was also just a period of time, especially like prior to social media, and you didn't see what other people were wearing in different states. You were only seeing what people were dressing like around you. You kind of
Yeah.
emulated what people around you was rocking. So like if I only seen people rocking skinny jeans, then I was rocking
Then
skinny
you're gonna rock skinny
jeans.
jeans. Yep. Yep.
So yeah, nah, it's an interesting time. I hate looking at old pictures of myself though.
Oh, dude, it's bad. I show my 11-year-old son some of those, and he's like, "Oh, Dad, why you dress like that? That's terrible." It's like, hey, you'll look back one day too and feel the same way about yourself, man.
Do you ever just like, and this is like just a random side question, like having, I feel like in the 90s, just movies, TV, culture, and music was just at its extreme. Like so many new ideas, so many new things being portrayed on TV. Do you ever just like pull your kids and be like, look, this is I was watching Space Jam. Y'all need to watch this to understand what's going on.
Yeah, it's funny because like my oldest now, like he's getting into music a little bit, so he'll show me some of the stuff that he likes now. Like I'm not up on the music scene nowadays, I'll be honest with you. But like I'll show him some stuff that I listened to back in the day. Like I showed him Nas, and I was showing him some old, like, because when I was in high school it was like Ludacris, Nelly, like that kind of stuff. And I was showing him this stuff. He's like, "Oh, this is pretty good." I was like, "Yeah, it's really good actually. Like it's better than this garbage you're listening to nowadays," kind of thing. And I'm like, man, I'm so old if I'm telling my kid this. Um, but I do agree with you, because I feel like that time of like, you know, 90s and like early 2000s, and maybe it's just because my generation, I feel like that was like peak civilization, man, because like that was before like .com boom and like everything. And I just feel like now like the internet has just like morphed everybody around the world to have like similar appreciation and similar taste. But back then I felt like it was, you know, you were yourself and you didn't worry about what other people were thinking about you, because you didn't know. Like you didn't see any of those other opinions online. It's like you hear something for the first time and you're like, "Oh, I like this." And why do you like it? Because it just resonated with you. Not because like so and so, like you saw the music video for this, or so and so's talking about this and that. And it's just like, no, it's just like real authentic like appreciation for things, because you didn't, it wasn't tainted by other people's opinions.
Man, I'm even just, ever so slightly younger than you. And like I was kind of growing up where like, I was heavily on MySpace, or like,
Hmm.
when Facebook was just kicking off, we had like Kick and like, all these different like platforms, but like social media wasn't that. Like people still value going outside and, being in real life versus being online. Um, but like again, I grew up in the Bay Area. I grew up in California. So like for a very long time until I went to college in Arizona, the only thing I knew was what was happening in the Bay Area. I didn't know, like
Hmm.
I might have seen, some video on BET, I would consume that, or like I might see a TV show and I'm like, oh, okay, that's interesting. But like I was so honed in on like what was happening around me because I wanted to be outside that I never like even thought about what other people were doing like in New York or like in LA until like I would say after I graduated college. That's when people were like get the TikToks, they get the,
Hmm.
Instagram is popping, people are posting a lot more. I'm like, damn, like this is a lot to take in right now. Like this is so much.
Like it's cool. Like the internet definitely has brought people together, but it also is like, uh, it just makes the world a smaller place, and it makes, I feel like taste and, interests are all kind of like melding together with like other people's tastes and interests.
No, definitely. I mean, I see it, and I'm definitely removed from it, even though I kind of understand it. Like, I see this a lot with like streamers. Like people will watch streamers eat, or like
Yeah, it's like
they'll,
what?
they'll watch them sleep, and it's just like, what is happening here? And I'm like, okay, I can see now where I'm starting to disconnect from like, people like my nephews, let's say, what their experience. I'm like, what are y'all watching right now? Like, I don't even understand.
Yeah, yeah, dude.
It's social media is interesting. It's interesting. I also realized when composing these questions, learning from your interest playing basketball, getting into sneakers, kind of like finding like that locus of like interest to getting into sneaker photography. There's a huge gap there. So
Oh
if you
yeah,
kind of like if you want to fill in that gap with just like, what were you doing in between, getting into sneakers and then also when you start to like pick up a camera and start to like photograph and like what was kind of happening in that space of your life?
for sure. So again, growing up in Idaho, like I love basketball, but like I feel like my dad was the one who introduced me to photography because we'd always do stuff outside, like go hiking, camping, like that kind of stuff. Because that's kind of the area that we grew up in, and he would always have his camera on him, taking pictures of the family when we're doing stuff like that. And gradually, like through high school and stuff, I got a camera and started documenting stuff that I would do with my friends, like we're hanging out, like let's snap a picture real quick. I would try and like make these crappy little videos because the resolution was terrible back then. But it was fun just trying to document stuff that I was doing with my friends. And then after high school, like into college, I started doing more like landscape stuff. So that's when I got like a legit camera and moved down to Utah for where I'm at now for college. And I mean, Utah, we got these beautiful mountains. You got like national parks with all the red rock and stuff down in southern Utah. And so a lot of cool things that I never was able to see growing up that I wanted to go see and experience. And so that really got me into photography, was landscape stuff. So, trying to understand how to properly expose things at different times of the day. And then in with all that too, I really got into like astrophotography. So like where you take pictures of like the stars and things so you can like see it in like, the sky. So that's where I learned a lot of the settings and how to like fine tune things on my camera. And I still love doing stuff like that. So when we go out with the family, like we still do a lot of hiking and things like that. And so I'll bring my camera, take pictures of the kids and take pictures of like, where we're at and things. It's just, I don't know, it's just fun. Photography's just been a fun way of like just capturing a moment. Like we talked about it, like those pictures we see of ourselves when we were younger, like it's a moment. And there's just like a power about like being able to capture a moment and like looking at it. And especially like if I take the picture, it's like, I remember this, like I remember who I was with. I remember like what the weather was like it just takes you back to that like experience that you had. And so that's kind of where I fell in love with photography, was just being outside, hiking and, going and seeing some beautiful things in nature. And then that kind of transitioned into sneakers over COVID, because that's like everybody's, we're locked down, we're at home, we don't know what's going on. So we're all just kind of hanging out in our houses, desperately trying to connect with people because we can't connect with people in person. And so like I had a decent sneaker collection at the time. But like I had seen like just scrolling online, like all these people posting stuff about sneakers and like posting pictures of their sneakers. I was like, I'm gonna just share mine and see if I can connect with some, like-minded people that way. And so I just started taking pictures of all my sneakers, throwing them online, like talking with my friends who were already into sneakers. And then from that, like meeting different other people who were into sneakers. And then it just kind of, snowballed into where we're at today. And just like, as I was taking pictures of my shoes early on, I started seeing how like different boutiques and different shops were like presenting their sneakers in like a really, really beautiful way. And I was like, I want to learn how to do that. So lots of YouTubing, lots of Googling, trying to figure out how to do like studio stuff and all of this. And then, yeah, it's just still a never ending process of learning, which is something that I enjoy doing. Sorry, that was a long-winded answer.
No, that is exactly what that is welcome. So I just kind of want to take it back just to like, a few steps before getting to the sneaker photography. So did you go to school in Utah for photography or was it for something else?
No, I went to school in Utah for initially I wanted to go and do like mechanical engineering. And then I started taking some of those prereq classes, and I was like, "Oh boy, I don't know if this is for me." So I bowed out of that after I think like 2 semesters. I was like, "Nah, this isn't what I want to do." And then I found an education program that kind of explored a lot of different things in technology, and that's what I teach now in the classroom. So in that education program, we got to learn about like manufacturing stuff. We also got to learn about like digital media. And that's really where like graphic design and Photoshop and all that stuff really like piqued my interest. And that's when it like kind of took off with my like landscape stuff that I was interested in. It's like, oh, like now that I understand the software side and I understand the camera side, it's like putting those two things together. Like I was able to like create and capture images that I like really, really loved. So yeah, in college is when I first like started dabbling around with like the Adobe stuff.
Okay. So then this last step backwards is you finish school and then you go into doing what exactly? Like what is it, going straight into teaching and educating, or was it like a path that like you fell into education?
I went right into it. So my degree
Okay.
is in education. My bachelor's degree is in education, and then so like right out of school, got my teaching job. Been doing that for 12 years now, and
Sheesh, good
it's been
stuff.
really fun. So I really love being in the classroom, and it's been cool too because uh like my interest in like digital like creation and digital media with photography, with video, with graphic design, like that's what I teach in school, and I teach to my students. So it's as I'm learning stuff for me out of my own personal, fulfillment and enjoyment, I can like then pass like that kind of stuff in a way on to the kids as well and help them learn. Cause like, man, I tell them all the time too. I was like, you guys don't know how good you have it. Like our state, they get free access to like the Adobe Creative Suite all through high school. And
Whoa.
so I'm just like, guys, like use this. Like you can create so much stuff and just learn how to use this software. Cause at your age, when your imagination is where it's at, like your creativity is like just so raw and unfiltered. And if you learn how to use these tools with it, like you could really do some really cool stuff.
I'm thinking about like when I was in college and some of the stuff that I had access to, and I'm just like, damn, I did not utilize that
Dude.
properly.
Yeah.
Like if I was working on like, because I use Premiere Pro and like
Uh-huh.
other Adobe things like for YouTube, I'm like, damn, had I just like if I got early into this, oh, I'd be in a whole different spot.
Yeah, man. It's like I just think like a lot. I was like, man, these 12-year-old kids, like they've been able to like draw stuff up in Adobe Illustrator. Man, I was using Microsoft Paint back in the day. Like, here's what you guys got.
Now, Microsoft Paint was like a good pastime. Like if your family had a
Yeah,
computer, you just open up Paint, you just do whatever in there. Like
just drawing, man. Like that's what it was. I remember drawing just nonsense in there, but it was fun.
oh, okay. So college, career. So then the pandemic happens. And I feel like the pandemic affected many different people or many people for different reasons. So like I was in California where I feel like the restrictions were just as tight
Oh
as
yeah,
like the restrictions were restricting. Like if
yeah.
you had to step outside, it had to be a death or something. So I'm curious, like, can you think back to that moment? Because I remember exactly where I was when my job that I had right out of college, they were like, yeah, we're gonna have to furlough you. So like, do you remember that moment where it was like, yeah, we're not going back to schools and like how that felt?
Yeah, it was weird, man. Like I didn't know what to think because like Like I remember, like, you hear inklings of it early on in that year. Like it's like, oh, there's this virus over in China, and like then you start hearing people like on a cruise ship get it, and they're coming back, and like then like Rudy Gobert does like the mic touching thing, like, and then he tests positive for COVID, and then like once the NBA like shut down, and we're like, hey, we're not doing any more games the rest of the season. That's when I was like, whoa, like this is crazy. And then like shortly thereafter that, we get like called into a faculty meeting, and they're like, yeah, we're not doing school. Everything's going to shift to online. Get all your stuff up online. We're going to finish this school year online. And that was just like, what? This was like March, and just really weird time, because it's like we were still like, do we have to come into school and like do online stuff, or are we staying home? Like it's just so much uncertainty with it that was just like, it was just weird. Like none of us had ever experienced anything like that before.
So, and I feel like it may have hit just a little bit different for you as well, because you have kids who are actively probably going to school at the time too. So it's like you have the kids that you're teaching, but then you also have your kids like that now they're being pulled from school. So now we're at that point during the pandemic. You're picking up the camera, you're starting to take pictures. Do you remember like I don't even know how to phrase it. Like, do you remember that first sneaker that really kicked it off for you, where it was like it garnered in traction on social media? Like it was like that first pair where it was like, I'm putting my full foot forward with it.
And I don't know if it was necessarily like a picture. Like I think it was like when we were starting to come out of the pandemic and we were back in school. I just posted a video of like, I am a teacher and I wear sneakers to school as a teacher. And like I posted that, and then that like video, and I look back at it and I was like, man, that video sucks. I could have made that better. But like I look at that video and it was like, I shared it, didn't think anything of it because I'd seen like other teachers do something similar. I was like, oh, I'm gonna do mine too. Like, hi, I'm Mr. Dutton. I wear these shoes to school. And then like Nice Cakes picked it up, Complex picked it up and like shared it, and I was like, oh dang. And then like that got some traction, and then I was like, wow, okay, like people really enjoy this. So like maybe I'm gonna like start taking pictures of like my shoes in my classroom. And so I started doing that for a while. And then like that transitioned to me like, man, like this is cool taking pictures of shoes like at school, but like I still want to just like highlight a shoe in a way that like I see it, like because I see sneakers as art, like wearable art. And so it's like, how can I show this as wearable art other than just like me just like taking a picture of me wearing it on my feet? And so that's when I started to kind of explore around with like different like positions and things like that we're gonna like highlight the shoe in a certain way. I didn't have a studio. I used to get double-sided tape and tape it to like a wall in my apartment and open the blinds. I was like, oh, I want a clean backdrop. My wall's a clean backdrop. Double-sided tape, stick the shoe on the wall, open the blinds, let the light come in. It's like, okay, at like 10 o'clock on a Saturday, I know what the light's going to be looking like coming in through my window and where to put the shoe. Ripped a lot of paint off my walls in my apartment, but like, that's where I was learning about just different positions and different lighting, and then eventually like saving up to get like, my own studio stuff. And yeah, just learning, man. It's just fun process.
Yeah, I graduated college fall 2019. So I
Oh
literally only
man.
had 3 months of like, I just graduated. I'm so excited to get out there. And then fucking in March, they're like, yeah, now we're gonna furlough you. So,
You're like, God.
but I feel you though on like the lighting, because I had moved back home after I graduated. I moved in with my mom, and we had a day room, and like that day room was just all glass. So like at like around like 12, 11, when the sun's like ass peak, I'm like, I need to get in that room right now. Like during the pandemic, I was like, I need to get in that room right now. Nobody else could be in here. I'm like buying 2 pieces of like science project paper from the store, setting it up. I'm like fucking trying to hold one piece of it up with a marker in, and like it was just like that whole process was like, it's so interesting, because like once you see the final product, people don't ever know I'm using a fucking bottle. I'm using a bottle cap to hold this up, and I'm like,
Yeah.
it's so interesting.
No, that's so fun. Like even now, like if like seeing like the way that I like set up pictures and stuff now, it's like I got like I buy like this stack of like erasers, like the little like erasers that you use to erase up, and like I use those to like stack things up and like lean things up against, and it's like just the little props that we use to like make something look how we want. It's just so like janky, but like it just it works. You find your flow.
Yeah, I exposed myself one time on social media because I thought when I was doing it, I was like, there's no, like once people see this picture, there's no way they're gonna believe this is how I did it. I was trying to take the shoelaces and extend them outside the frame.
Yeah.
And I literally, I'm like, I'm sitting on my apartment floor and the laces are between my toes, and I'm like stretching my leg out. I will put the clip of the picture in here when the video drops, but I was extending my foot out with the laces between my toes. Like, but you would never know. Like, and it was I had to take the picture and I posted it on my story. I was like, this is how I just took this picture, by the way.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Yeah, I'm glad you got that behind the scenes, because it's like everything, like, oh, that's hilarious, man. That's so funny.
So were there, I know you kind of mentioned it briefly, but like were there like people that were like you were drawing inspiration from at the time that was kind of like, helping you along that process of like learning how to set it up, learning how to like kind of position shoes?
For sure. Like I looked at a lot of like following a lot of boutiques online, and the
Okay.
way that they just presented their products that they were coming in. And I can't even like remember some of the ones that I was following at the time. Like I think for a while there, like sneaker politics, like seeing the way that they position stuff. And now like it took me forever to figure out who some of the photographers were. Like shout out Jared Moody, like keep doing stellar stuff over there with them. So a lot of his stuff early on that I saw at politics, and then just like I don't know, you go to your For You page on Instagram, and mine was always sneakers. So I just like look and just be like, oh, that's cool. Like, I wonder how they did that. And then I'd just be trying stuff like that, and just experimenting around, seeing if I could do certain things a certain way. And then, eventually like molding it into like my own style and my own taste with things.
Yeah. And I feel like for me, when I was just starting out, like early pandemic, like 21 or I'll say 20 and then 21, I was heavily following Eric Lincoln.
Yeah.
And I was just like, no, he took a picture of those CDG foam pods, like the first pair, like the white and the
Hmm.
black pair. I was like, this dude is he's out of here. Like, I don't know. How do you even like, and like at one point I had to unfollow him because I saw that I wasn't just solely being inspired by him. I was like copying his entire
Right.
flow. So I was like, I had to take a seat back and be like, okay, like I know how to set up a picture now. I need to unfollow this dude because he's like just basically directing my entire like sneaker photos. So how do I branch off and be my own thing for a second? So I had to unfollow him for a little bit because I was like, no, this dude's he's doing it all. So I can't even like
For sure.
but I am interested though. Like, do you have a top 3 like favorites that you've taken of like since the pandemic and now? Because I have 3 pulled up right here
Pictures.
that I'm gonna show you. That are
Goodness.
mine.
Ooh, that's tough. Because like I take pictures like almost every day, so it's hard to keep like mental notes of all those things. Um, we'll say like this year, one of my favorite ones, and just the way like it all turned out. Those Vandy the pink Pumas that he just did with the cheeseburger bag box. Um,
Mm,
I put like the shoes like in the box and stacked them up. Yeah, that one.
yep, this is
That
on my list.
I was so
This
happy
is
with
on
how
my
that one
list.
turned out, man. Because like I saw the bag, or the bag box, whatever you want to call it, and I was just like, that was my first shot. That one, like with the shoes on top of it, I was like, this is cool. But like I opened the box, I was like, no, let's build this like a cheeseburger. And so yeah, trying to get that thing set up so that it didn't fall over on itself. Like I put this little like I had these little like boxes I put in the bottom. They come with like a leather dust bag that I put over the box. You can kind of see it like on the back heel of that tan pair,
Mm,
so that it looked like it was kind of the inside of the burger. And then, man, I had all these like arms trying to hold up the lid of the cheeseburger to like keep everything stacked. Crazy amount of erasers behind those shoes, keeping them like balanced. Like, yeah, that's probably one of my favorite shots that I've taken this year.
so you're basically saying the opposite end of this picture probably looks crazy.
It looks terrible. It looks terrible.
Nah, that's
If I
funny.
took a backside view of that, like you wouldn't really even see the shoes very much.
Nah. Again, when I saw this, I was like, no, you're out of there. I had that same feeling like, no, he's out of there. Like the way that this whole setup was even presented, I was like, I knew when I saw that this would like be in something like my favorite work from you. I'm gonna just go ahead and show the other two that I had
Yeah.
that same feeling towards.
Mm.
These pictures with how much product is on the actual image itself is still read very clean and like executed well. Like this picture alone, ridiculous. It was
Yeah.
ridiculous. I was like, no, you're out of there. So like, what was even like the thought process when you got this shoe? Like, what were you thinking? Like, how did you get to this point?
So this shoe, so shout out Phil at Unheard of. That guy's the homie. Um, that shoe I wanted to be out there in Cincinnati for the release because it was supposed to be like originally like a Valentine's Day shoe, right? And so like I had the thought, I was like, okay, these are Valentine's Day shoes. What could I do for like Valentine's Day? I asked my kids, I was like, guys, this is a Valentine's Day shoe. Like, what do you think would be cool like to put with this shoe? And they're like, get a bunch of candy. I was like, that's a great idea. So my kids came up with the candy idea. And so I ordered off of Amazon like a 5-pound bag of candy hearts. And they were down here in my basement with me, helping me like eat it and set it up and stuff like that. So that was like, I really love the way those pictures turned out, but like looking at those, I was like, I spent a lot of time with my two kids that day, just hanging out, eating candy, setting things up. And so like that one right there, that was probably my favorite shot from the whole set because I wanted to like make that lace look like a pigtail, because it's a piggy runner.
Mm,
So I tried to do like the curly, spirally like pigtail, and then do a play on the candy there with like the Valentine's Day stuff. So yeah, that one was really fun.
I'm always curious whenever I look at some people's sneaker photography because I know just doing a little bit that I do, how do you deal with laces? Because laces are
Man.
so frustrating trying to get them to lay how you want them to lay. But I find again, like the way that this is like positioned, it's either I'm like, did they like use starch and then fucking make it crispy? Like, how do you even achieve that?
So this one, like I was just trying to figure out like how to position these laces. And this was like before I'd even worn the shoe. So the laces were already kind of like pretty like crispy, like fresh before like I put them on my foot or anything like that. So that definitely helped with these. But with other pairs, like, man, it just takes a lot of time. Like I'm over here like trying to like straighten out the laces. And a lot of times I'll unlace the shoe completely, and then relace the shoe just very carefully just to make sure the laces are laying how I want. And then to get some of these positions, like I use like lots of little like double-sided tape and I just ball it up and like put it in places to kind of hold it where I want. And then just takes a lot of time to get the double-sided tape out in like post in like Lightroom and Photoshop.
Okay, that makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah, nah, I'm like fucking. I had like my iron board out. I'm fucking ironing the laces. I'm like, they not straight enough. I'm like, damn, what's going on? Okay, that makes sense. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And then one more for you. Cause I'm starting to see like it way more in your photography, but like the usage of like lighting being a part of it. And I saw this and I was like, again, I mean, I've been saying it over and over, take a shot every time I say it, but like I was like, yeah, no, he's out of there. So like when I got to this picture, I was like, oh yeah, nah, this is crazy.
Yeah, that one was, so this is when I first started like messing around with putting lights inside the shoe. Because I feel like, you can take pictures of the insole and insoles are cool and stuff, but what was really cool about this shoe is like from the outside, it just looks super plain, right? Like you got very neutral colors on the shoe. Yeah, so like it's just you don't see a lot of that like interior, but the whole inside of the shoe is that like volt green. And as soon as I put like I have these little like cube uh LED lights, not very big, maybe like an inch by inch. And so I put that in there and I was just like, I wonder what's gonna happen. I want to see if I can get the like just to see like the mesh texture. And I turned that on and everything just turned green. And I was like, whoa, like this is cool. So then I started playing around with that and Like this one, like, man, that green light that reflected off that stock liner just kind of illuminated everything else. And I was real happy with this. A lot of these are just like, this was happy accidents, right? Like you put the light in there
Yeah.
and you're just like, oh, I see this. And then like an idea comes from like the results that you see after you try that little thing.
Let me stop sharing that. So like, well, that was, it's funny because like that Puma pair, I knew that was like, that's the first, when I made that question, I was like, I know I need to add that Puma one in there. So are there any other ones before we move on to like the next one that you like, no, I felt so great about this shoe when I posted it?
Man, I gotta look back through my feed. Give me just a second, because like there's a lot, man. And like there's definitely some where I'm just like, I'm not really like feeling this one today. Let's see. Those I loved at least one picture, the one with the golden eye inspired Air Max ones, the dot swoosh ones.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So like when I got those like shoes in, like I had the idea because it was a pre-order, right? So as soon as I placed the pre-order for that shoe, I was like, all right, this is GoldenEye inspired. Like I got to bust everything out because I still had my old Nintendo 64 from when I was a kid. And so I pulled the N64 out, but I didn't have a TV. So I was trying to find like a TV that could go with it, and found one and was like, yeah, I want to use the N64 controller. I want to use like the GoldenEye game cartridge. I want to use all these things in this photo set. And so, yeah, that one's probably, that's up there for one of my favorite ones.
Oh, I think I got it. I am.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, so just that picture, like this one's just like a sneaker of the year, like collage thing. It was like, these are all the sneakers that, I feel like were great this year that weren't on the list. But that picture, I love how that picture turned out. And again, like there's so much of that cord on that N64 controller that I'm like bunched up in my hand. Dude.
Yeah, nah, that's funny. That's funny. What's funny is I played this game before. I didn't play it
I love
on
it.
the Nintendo, but I played it. They made a version of it for the GameCube. And I remember playing that on GameCube at my cousin's house, like when I go over there on the weekend. Like,
yeah,
definitely a time.
Yeah, that was like we were talking, like, peak civilization. Like I remember as a kid, like we go over to the friend's house, you have all 4 controllers, cables are tangled everywhere, but you're playing multiplayer on GoldenEye, and like that was a time, man. Screen watching your friends. And like, hey, you can't screen watch. You can't screen watch. You know where I'm at.
That's like when we'll play Call of Duty, like on like the first Xbox. Like, oh my god, screen watching was that's like almost like fight worthy offensive.
Yeah, fights with Ray. It's like, you're watching my screen. How'd you know where I was at? I wasn't watching. I swear.
What was your first system was a Nintendo, or like the first system that you okay?
First system that I owned was like, I remember it was a Super Nintendo back in the day. I think that was the first one that we got, and then after that, it was the Nintendo 64.
My first system was a PlayStation 2, middle school Christmas. That day was, I can't play games like that now, but that day I probably didn't shower. I'll keep it real. I probably didn't. We had like Jack and Dexter. We had Monsters vs. Man, so many hours just playing the PlayStation 2. Yeah, that's dope. No, those shoes are dope. I think I'm surprised. I don't think it lined up perfectly to where it was able to get mentioned in Complex, but the Reebok, Beams, and Sony, right? That whole 3-pack,
PlayStation pack. Oh my god!
I thought that was executed so well. I mean, the price for it, I don't know if you saw it, like the retail price for it, insane. Keep it real. Stupid. Insane. But the pack, the execution, the way they displayed it and everything, like the box that it came with, I was like, this is what sneakers needs. It needs more rollouts like this. That was amazing. That was amazing.
Like that, the box, the packaging, and then like the thing that got me was the little like lace lock that they use that looks like the end of like the PlayStation controller. I was like, oh my gosh. Like, Yeah, they killed that one.
I'm gonna show a quick image and then we go move into the next. Just because I was talking about funny images that I use, but like you wouldn't know that I was doing whatever I was doing on the the opposite end of it. So I took this picture.
Is this the toe picture?
This is one of them, but that's not the one I was describing. But I did do that one. I did do that with this one, the Stray Rat New Balance collab. I just found it real quick, but yeah, this is one of those times where I was doing something real stupid.
Dude, that's the best part though, is because like you know what it took to get that, you know, doing like these weird like stretches with yourself while trying to hold the camera or like get it off the tripod. Yep.
All right, cool. So I know what goes through my mind when I get a sneaker that I'm like, okay, cool, I want to shoot this, you know, photography wise, I want to set it up, I want to stage it and everything. I know like what goes through my mind when I'm like, okay, I want to shoot this shoe. Like, what's like the first initial thought? Like, you get a sneaker, you know, no matter what the company is, you get a sneaker in front of you. Like, what's like the first thing that pops in your mind when you're like, I want to shoot this shoe?
Usually like I'll try to figure out like what colors I want to like complement it with. So like a backdrop. So I use a lot of those like big like seamless paper backdrops that are on the rolls and things like that.
Mm,
Um, so they like I have way too many of those, man. Like just stacks of these rolls all over the place. But like I try to find colors that are going to complement and like really make the shoe stand out. And the tricky thing about like those backdrops too is because like it's not just the color against the shoe, it's how the light reflects off of that onto the shoe. So like you'll get, if you have like, say I have like a white sole and I'm using a green backdrop, like that green backdrop's going to reflect green onto that white sole. And is that the look I'm going for, kind of thing, you know? So I'll spend a lot of time trying to figure out the right color of backdrop, but then I'll just look at it and be like, okay, what parts of this shoe like are striking, what parts of the shoe are like features that are really cool. And so I'll just spend time just looking at it, like looking at the details, like, okay, look at this cool like little thing on the you know, the insole, or like I'll look at these cool lace locks. And then if I want to like really go deep and I have time like into the storytelling, like I'll do some research on the shoe and like who the designer was of the shoe and like try to understand some of the, you know, the creative process it took for them to create the shoe, what the story or design inspiration for it was. And I'll try to pull some of that in. I wish I could do like pictures all the time with like the props to like kind of, you know, make the shoe like really bring it to life, like that piggy runner, you know, one. Can't do that with every shoe. But when there are certain shoes that have like that extra element of like storytelling, I really try to bring that out, because I feel like we see the shoe, people wear the shoe is cool, but then like the story or the intentionality behind the design, I try to bring that out with some of those props and some of those photos. So example of that was like those, I think I posted those this week. Ruckus New Balance 480s. They're like inspired by like duck hunting.
oh
Uh,
yeah.
yeah, I was like, okay, they have all these cool little extras. Like I want to get like, you know, the duck blind, like camo netting and like do some stuff with that. Cause I feel like that would really like drive home the storytelling side that they're trying to, you know, portray with that. Because some shoes, like the shoe itself is the story and you can really just like focus on the shoe, but other shoes I feel like that story can be presented and elevated more with just like a few little, you know, props and things with it.
Yeah, I definitely I feel on that. Some shoes really are like I've well, since I'm not like a sneaker photographer per se, there are some shoes where it's like it's so plain that I really don't see the value in even like shooting the shoe because it's like there's nothing too exciting. But I've seen shoes that you have posted. Whereas, like, I would have assumed, like, if I was shooting it, I'd be like, this is too boring. It's maybe not too cool. And you've shot it, and I'm like, damn, I kind of want the shoe now. It's like, the reason I asked that is because, like, it's so interesting how photography can make something that I personally wouldn't even buy myself, but then it's shot in a way where it's like, damn, I kind of need the shoe now. I'm kind of mad I missed out on it.
Yeah, no, I've seen that like with what people share online, and even if it's not like, even if it's just as simple as like someone wearing it on their feet and like they get a picture of it like on foot, I'm like, ah, okay. Now that I see what it looks like on foot, like, no, I want to get that shoe.
Yeah. I typically lean like, for me, I lean more into like, how can I pair this with food in some degree?
Hmm.
Or like a lot of people now are getting into like, gardening and like adding flowers and like different, signias of like, planting or like plant life. So I'm like, okay, so maybe I add grass here, or maybe I add like some fake flowers from like Michael's and like kind of just like do it up a little bit.
No, like, but those props though, like it can really elevate stuff. But also, like, a lot of times, like if a shoe's pretty plain and pretty simple, that's where I really try to like focus in on like lighting and shadows, because like the lighting and the shadows can really like make the shoe like just feel not more premium than it is, but like just elevate the way it looks so that you can really like appreciate the shoe for what it is. So I really try to, like, if it's just like a plain like, I don't know, like all white shoe or something, it's like you got to really like dial in like shading and textures, because that's what that shoe, or like that's what the images need to really show like what that shoe is.
Nah, most def. So do you remember that first like that real banger? Like you posted it and it got, nice kids complex. Basically every sneaker outlet posted it. It made it to like an article post somewhere on some outlet. Like you remember like that first time like you had like that real viral post.
From pictures, hmm. One that comes to mind is it was when Goat and Nike did their like Oregon Air Max ones. Those
Uh
like the first ones, not the like crazy like lime green looking ones like
oh,
the
that's what I
Tinker
was thinking
Hatfield
of.
ones, but the one that say like ducks of a feather like on the back heel. It hadn't leaked yet, right? And then
Mm.
Goat sent me that pair, and was like, yeah, take some pictures of it and throw it up. So I took some pictures of it and threw it up, and then that one was cool to see it like, go places and do some things with that one. Even though like looking back at those pictures now that I took of those, I'm like, man, I could have done that so much better. Hmm.
It got you
Yeah,
up on
that
the
shoe.
article.
Yeah, that
Okay.
shoe.
Okay.
And then funny thing about that shoe too, I did it and I probably shouldn't have for like first images. They don't come with yellow laces. I had some yellow laces. I was like, oh, that would complement
Mm.
it so well. And then I kept getting questions like, oh, mine didn't come with yellow laces. I was like, yeah, they don't. Like these were just laces that I had laying around and I thought would go well with the shoe.
I mean, you have to make that creative decision. So this is a growing topic, and I don't know if this conversation is being had on a larger scale, but I feel like this conversation is popping up way more, especially TikTok. If you're on TikTok, and definitely Instagram. How do you feel about fakes?
Mhm.
Rocking fake sneakers, promoting people to buy fake sneakers, like, because I feel like we live in this time now where, obviously, I would say earlier this year, a lot of those Chinese manufacturers started exposing, like, this is where they get their shoes from. This is basically the same thing, but it's like it's not being licensed or sold through this company, but like this is the same stuff. So I feel like those lines kind of got blurred, and people started doing whole DH gate, my sneaker collection that I paid $600 for, but I got, 10 pairs of sneakers. So I'm always
Dude,
curious, being as involved in sneakers as you are, how do you feel about fakes?
they it kind of bothers me, like, not like if someone loves fakes, like cool, do your thing. Like wear your fakes, that's fine. But I think from like a cultural perspective of sneakers is like I remember back like when fakes were just terrible. And like you got a pair of fakes and everybody knew that they were fake and you would get like flamed. Like I remember kids like coming to school sometimes with like fake Jordan 11s and like some colorways that aren't even like anywhere realistic to what Jordan Brand would make. And you're like, what are those? Those look terrible. Those look made out of cardboard. So maybe it's just like my era that I grew up in with that. But I just feel like it's just like it's a cheat. It's a cheat on the game. Like, cause it's like, oh, I can't afford these like $2,000 Travis Scotts. I'm gonna just go buy some fakes for however much they cost. Um, I'm not saying like those resale prices are justified, but like you don't need to have everything. And I feel like fake sneakers is just the shortcut to like having everything, but it just doesn't. I don't know, it just doesn't feel like very genuine for like what sneakers is, and I feel like it dilutes the appreciation for what like a shoe actually is, especially something that's like for me, like I don't know, I have these my pair I posted the other day, like Cause Jordan 4s. That took me I don't know how many years to chase down a pair of Cause Jordan 4s. Yeah, beautiful shoe, man. Like that's my favorite four of all time. Absolutely beautiful shoe. And I feel like, me chasing those down from when they released, I didn't get them, didn't like have any clue of how to get them, and then chasing them down. I think last year is when I finally got my pair. Uh, I just feel like it devalues that experience and that process. It just doesn't feel like there's an appreciation for like the culture of the shoe or the story of the shoe if you can just go and buy like a knockoff, it just I don't know how to say that best, but I just feel like it devalues what the shoes actually mean.
Yeah. Now I feel like I'm still from that era too, where like you would have to change your government name. You couldn't
Yeah,
you couldn't show up to school again. You would have to change schools, change counties because you would legit get fried for it. So I feel like, even for me, it's like I don't have I'm not rocking fakes. I'm not
no,
searching for fakes. That's not what I'm doing because it's also like, who am I trying to impress by having these fakes? I don't need to pay 200. If I'm gonna pay $200 for a fake sneaker, I'm gonna go buy a real sneaker. That's like, I feel like sneakers are there's so many great sneakers out, and there's so many companies now being accepted. Like, back then it was like Jordan, Nike, but now you could rock Sauconys, you could rock New Balance, you could rock Vans, you could rock, and like those are still cool sneakers universally. So like I feel like you have way more options to even like when it comes to sneakers. So like to buy a fake sneaker and still pay a premium price on it is just it's egregious to me.
it's weird, man. It's so weird. But like I agree with you though, because like there's so many like good sneakers out there. So if you're gonna spend $200 on like I guess this premium fake shoe, like you could go take that $200 and you could look online right now and find a New Balance or an Asics or like a Saucony or even like a Jordan or something that's been like discounted that's way better and looks good. And I just feel like fakes is just like you're seeking other people's validation instead of your own. Um, and so like if you really like have taste and like care about like your individuality, like you can express that through a $60 discount sneaker or a $1,000 grail, anything in between. It doesn't matter the value of the shoe, it's just how it like makes you feel and how you present it. Like that's how you present yourself.
So this brings out another question because I think this is another conversation people are having often. Because I think about the undefeated four,
Yeah.
and that released this year, but then also Travis Scott going online saying, "Oh, I got my pair prior to this the real authentic pair." Does exclusivity play a part into like what makes a sneaker good or not? Because for I feel like most times how exclusive and how hard it was to get that sneaker plays into why the resale value is $20,000. So like, how do you feel about exclusivity in the sneaker space? And then like, is it needed?
I think so. I feel like exclusivity, and not like every sneaker, right? But there has to, like you hear the conversation online. It's like, why doesn't Nike or why doesn't Adidas or why doesn't Jordan just make like do a pre-order and anybody who wants them can get them? Um, I mean, you look at anything like things that are exclusive outside of sneakers, clothing pieces, artwork, cars, like the value, not monetary, but like this, like the cultural value and the appreciation for something wouldn't be there if it was available to everybody. At least that's how I feel. Because like, so the undefeated fours, like those first ones, yeah, I mean, that's super rare. Like you had to be in the know or have like just a shit ton of money to be able to just drop and get that shoe. And, it meant something. And like now, like when they did these recent ones, like, man, I had friends who were hitting on like 4 or 5 pairs of this shoe and like everybody has it. And so like that whole like I don't know. That one's an interesting topic as well. Is like you have like this grail of grails with the OG undefeated fours, then you have like where we're at now. Like this one isn't going to be as significant as this one, and that's just how it's going to be because of how people were, how the culture was, what the shoe meant at that time is completely different than what the new retro means at this time. Like this can still be that grail. The new one doesn't devalue that in any way whatsoever, in my opinion.
Nah, that's my exact sentiment. I'm like, if you have that pair from the past, that doesn't tarnish, like, because people still chase, like, let's say like a Jordan 11, like, or like what's another shoe that retro this year, like metallic fives. Like there are periods
Mhm.
of times where people thought metallic fives look better with this retro, or like the other retro, like that happened like many years ago. So it's like there's still gonna be people that want like that OG pair, and they could pay their 30,000, or you can get the new pair, and it's like you pay what you pay. Like I don't see how that would mess up the value of that previous pair.
Yeah, like this year, the white cement fours, they came out earlier this year. I still have my 2016 pair, and personally, I prefer that 2016 pair. I still have the new ones. They're in the box. I'm not gonna wear those until my 2016 pair, like, gives up the ghost. I'm gonna wear those, but now I can wear that 2016 pair with a little bit more confidence, knowing that like I have this other one like
Mm,
stashed away. So when these ones are cooked and done, I got a crispy one that I can pull out and keep wearing. So I feel like from like a wearability standpoint, at least for like some of the OGs, I like that they re-release them like they do. Some people are like, no, like they re-release the shoe every 5 or 6 years. Like it's just played out at this point. It's like, no, that just makes it so we can wear it. Because like if you have these old pairs, they're going to be crumbling soon. So yeah, we want a retro so we can keep wearing that shoe and it doesn't fall apart on us.
yeah, there was an interesting quote though from somebody who works for Nike, who had a comment on retros being like, if you guys are okay with the list, or like
Mm.
they're referring to a list, they're like, if you're okay with them retroing things and like those being like the top of the top, then like you can't get mad at these companies for not pushing innovation. So like
Yep.
is there an aspect of that as well, like how long can they retro the what's a what's a sneaker that's been retro to death?
Like the Air Max 95 neons, like those things
Yeah,
come out
let's
all the time.
yeah. Like, is there a point? Is there a point at which they should be like, okay, maybe we should just like kind of vault it up?
Yeah, I think like there's definitely times when you see that, like either just where the culture's at or the community's at a time. Like right now, like Jordan ones, like they were hot there for like, pandemic, pre-pandemic times, like they were popping. Um, and then now it's kind of like, you get these ones that we talked about earlier, the reimagined UNCs or these black toes on crazy discounts right now. They're popping up in outlets. So it's like some of those retros I feel like they should like maybe like, pump the brakes on, maybe just take away for a little bit. And, you know, I feel like people's appreciation for them would go up when they can't have it. But like back to that quote, so I think it was Bryce Wong who said that.
Yeah,
Yeah, so he's done stellar stuff with like SB. He's done like all the dot swoosh shoes. Um, but his take, I appreciated that take because like if we keep putting these retros on a pedestal, but we also ask for innovation, like the innovation isn't rewarded like these retros are because that's what we keep talking about. So we can't. I feel like it's hard to have both, like these stellar retros that we all want, but also like these crazy innovative new ideas that we want too. Because when crazy innovative new ideas come out, it's not as valued as like the retros are still. So retros, yeah, they still kind of run the show, but I don't know. I appreciate anytime there's new like tech that comes out. Like this year for me, I really loved those what were they? The ones that Nike did that had like that full length zoom. It's like a running shoe.
the
Uh
Vomero.
Not the Vomero, it was the I can't remember.
Yeah, I
Anyway,
think
that
the
one.
Vomero's nice. Yeah, overall.
Vomeros look nice. I've loved Adidas like Evo SLs, like their walking running shoe. Like that tech in footwear has been incredible. And is it going to be on a sneaker of the year list? No. Um, but like, I don't know. I feel like that's a deep conversation to have with people at brands, because retros and those things that pays like the bills, like lifestyle stuff, and the innovation, like it still needs to happen from like a performance standpoint. But then from a lifestyle standpoint, anytime someone tries something new, a design or a new silhouette, people don't like it because it's not familiar. And it's
Yeah.
like, I think that's more of a cultural thing. It's like people need to, I feel like we see a shoe, but we don't necessarily understand what goes on behind the scenes to get to that shoe. And I feel like if the masses were able to see, like, okay, these are the things that the designer drew inspiration from, this is who the designer is. If that was getting as much attention as the actual shoe, I feel like it would be appreciated a little bit more.
Nah, most def. So before we move on to this next question though, yay or nay on fake fake sneakers?
Yeah, no, nah.
Fake sneakers are a no-go. I would just say this, Nike, if anybody from Nike is watching, I'm just gonna say this right now. I'll be a part of the problem. Retro the 14s, last shots.
Please, please.
I need a pair of last shot 14s expeditiously. Because people are asking for stupid prices for those like man, was it, I'm not gonna mess up the number because I fight people are gonna be like, well, you're not even a real sneaker. I think it was like 2011 when hold
Yeah, I gotta
on.
look that up.
When was the
Yeah, 2011 is what I'm seeing.
yeah, I think it was 2018
Yeah, 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 yeah.
per se or whatever. But I think it's about time we get another last shot 14, just for me
Yeah.
personally.
And, I've seen it online as like make Jordans above 14 great again, because there's some good ones. There's some
I mean,
good ones.
the 17 being on top sneakers, that's definitely going to help them realize, like, hey, we don't have to keep up. I thought that I'm about to go way off topic, but I thought that the Jordan 2 was going to get way more love, especially after Virgil and like what
Hmm.
he did with the 2. I thought the 2 was going to get way more love. I feel like it got like fucking pushed to the side.
It had its year, and then now they're like, okay, we're done.
It's like, yeah, we're over that now. But yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot of Jordan silhouettes that I feel like they can kind of reach back into that vault or even just like give to somebody to elevate that shoe in present day. Because CDG has been CDG, man. You gotta give them credit, man. That foam posit run, ridiculous.
So good.
They did
So
the
good.
Sunder, amazing. Like CDG is quietly making some of the best Nike footwear pieces for sure.
It's like they reimagine it, but then it's like it's not overdone either. Like it's super, yeah, beautiful. Such a beautiful foam.
All right, cool. So kind of pulling away, necessarily not from sneakers, but you are someone who has a job and you
Hmm.
also make content and create content for many different brands. So like, how do you find that balance of being like, I have a full-time gig, but then I also do this on the side, because I have a full-time gig and I know by the time the weekend comes, I'm like, I'm tired. So it's like, how
Yeah.
do you balance that?
I mean, just a lot of time management, right? Like I think being in education is beneficial, because like I get home at like 3:30, 3:45 every day after school, which is nice. I'll spend some time with my kids, um, do a little bit, while they're like hanging out with friends or doing stuff like that. We'll eat dinner, spend some more family time, and then after bedtime, then I'm right back down in my little studio doing more stuff. Like, um, I mean, doing photography and stuff like that, like it definitely, you have to love it if it's something that you want to do. Because it definitely takes commitment if you want it to look a certain way. Because if you just, it's like all this, if you're just trying to rush it, get things done real quick, then you can tell in like the end results of what you're trying to do. So it definitely takes some discipline, but man, you gotta be really like locked in and love that stuff, to do it. Because I'm like I said earlier, like almost every single day, like I'm down here taking pictures, whether it's for myself or for like a brand or a company or something like that. And it's a big time commitment, but it's something that I really enjoy doing. Just the process of capturing the process of like touching it up, in Lightroom or Photoshop, making it look how I want. But yeah, it gets exhausting at moments, but you got to find time to take breaks here and there when you can, but just be very like intentional about what you're doing when you're doing it. So if I'm at school, that's where I'm at. Like my mind's out 100% of the time. I'm locked in there with my students, making sure they're getting everything they can from me. When I get home and I'm with my family, locked in, intentional about doing stuff with my family. And then when I have time to, break away and do photography, locked in, focused on that. Like, just got to be very specific about where your mind's at with those things.
So like definitely just being whatever moment that you're in, you're being in that moment fully.
Hmm.
Okay, cool.
And then just,
I'm trying to take that advice. 'Cause I'm like, I do sometimes kind of overthink things and like even at work, and I'm like, I may be thinking about, oh damn, I need to shoot this video, I need to shoot like this BTS, and like fuck, I need to get back to work. And then like if like on the weekend I'm working on a video, I'm like, damn, I gotta get ready for work. So it's like I need to find a better balance for myself.
yeah, I started, what's kind of helped me is like everyone says like, oh, put reminders on your phone or do this. Like me, it doesn't work that way on my phone. Like I have to write things down. And I feel like me like writing down the things that I need to do. It's like, okay, when I'm at school, here's what I need to do at school today. I'll write those things down. And then like I'll write down the things like that I need to do, like content or for other people, and have that list. Cause I feel like when I write it down, like my mind places that thought on paper and it stays there. It's safe. And then I don't have to worry
Mm,
about it. And then I can go back and look at that paper when I'm ready. It's like, okay, I need to do this, this, and this. So I'm not like all these thoughts jumbling around in my head while I'm like trying to teach. It's like, oh, I need to do these photos, I need to do this video or whatever. So just putting it down on paper has helped me a ton.
cool. I am just curious though, you know, seeing like your social media and seeing like the presence that you have on social media, has that benefited or hurt you being in this like in a classroom? Because I'm sure the students know if they're into singers, they know who you are. So has it like elevated like your overall like what you're teaching them? They see value in it, or has it been like, oh, this is social media influencer? He ain't really a teacher. Like, has that played a role at all?
I feel like it's kind of benefited being in the classroom. Like they're like, oh, you're that guy on, like I don't bring it up. Like I don't bring any of that stuff up in the classroom at all. They're like, oh, you're that guy on social media, and I'm like, yeah. Anyway, here's what we're doing. Um, but like I think the kids that recognize like the stuff that I'm doing on social media, I think that brings a little bit of validity to what I'm teaching in the classroom. It's like, oh, this guy knows how to do this, obviously. So I need to buy into what he's trying to tell me because he knows what he's talking about, kind of thing. So I feel like it's helped definitely over the years. But what's funny is when like I'll have like parent teacher conferences, have like kids come in with their parents and their parents are like, hey, yo, like I follow you on like Instagram. I love this, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, we'll spend all this time talking about shoes. And it's like, all right, but about your kid in my class, let's talk about that.
Yeah, so it's the parents, it's not even the students. That's funny. I feel like most of the times it is the parents. Like whether it be like AAU and like the parents are yelling at the fucking coach or like something, like the parents are definitely interested. I kind of just want to jump. I feel like we're definitely running for time here, but I kind of want to jump to this next question because I feel like so many people are wanting content creation, social media to kind of be like the full-time thing. They want that to be what's paying the bills, what's keeping them afloat. How do you foster relationships with companies? How do you
Mhm.
foster relationships with, when you're younger, you think about Nike, and it's like that's so far out of reach. But then it's like now they're reaching out to you to like promote this or promote that, or like, whether it be Adidas or all these companies. Like, how do you foster those relationships? And then how do you maintain them?
Fostering, like, man, I don't know about that. I feel like social media kind of does that for you, like the more consistent you are with it. Like brands are always watching, like people from brands are always watching what people are doing on social media. So if you're consistent in what you do and the way that you present your content, if they see value in it, they're gonna see it and they're gonna reach out to you. And then maintaining those relationships. I mean, it's just like any relationship that you have with anybody from like work or like friends or anything. Just like, I don't know, just be natural, like be yourself. Like I feel like in today's day and age, especially with like content creation. They're like, who do I need to get to know so that I can get to this level? And like transactional type relationships, it's like, okay, once I like found this person to get to this person to get to this person, you just dump everybody else because you're now at the top. It's like, nah, that's cheesy. Like that's just very tacky. So I think just for me, it's just appreciating like who these people are and what they contribute to what we love in sneakers. So maybe it's someone that I know in marketing, and getting to know them and how they like help influence marketing for whatever brand they're working for. Maybe it's a designer, so getting to know them and like what they have to go through to get like their design seen, and like I don't know, just getting to know them on a personal level, because then I mean, I don't know, it's like it's how you make friends. Like you get to know people on a personal level, and you just continue to be friends with those people. So just be a friend, I guess, is the best way to like
Yeah.
keep those relationships going, be a genuine human being, you know. Like it's just cool to, for me personally, I just love hearing like people's stories, like why they ended up being where they're at, and doing what they're doing. Like that's just fascinating to me, just the way, you know, people's lives are that way. So just showing genuine interest in people and what they do. And it's hard nowadays, especially with content creation, because a lot of those relationships that, you know, content creators will get, it's all transactional for them because they just want that paycheck. And yeah, it's so like authenticity in your content also needs to be authenticity with the people that you interact with. Just be authentic.
Yeah. And I'm a flex real quick because I feel like we come for air before like social media was like a thing, like, or like I'm a little bit closer to it being a thing versus like your generation, but like in real life, you had to foster relationships. Like I feel like
Yeah.
now people like they are trying to figure out, which I don't knock anybody because like everybody's trying to pay bills. Everybody's
Hmm.
trying to keep a roof over their head, food on their plate. But it's like when it gets to that point of like you see everything in that manner, I feel like that strays away more opportunities than it actually lets in. Like when you actually be like, oh, bro, I just want to chop it up with you. I just want to have a good time. I just want to kick it. Like versus like, oh, bro, we need to be making content or we need to be. It is like I can feel that, and I know other people can feel that as well. When it's like, oh, I see what it is, because I've been in
Yeah.
rooms with people who are like content creators, and they're like, oh, I see. We're just associates. Like we're never gonna be friends. Okay, cool. I know what it is. Like, I know how to like
Yeah.
put you in that pocket. Let's say.
Yeah.
So no, I feel you. I feel you on that. This is the last question. I always try to leave people off with like, let's say there's somebody out there and like they see your work and they're like, damn, dude, I just don't know how to start. I don't know what I need to get. I don't know, like, all the things that get to this level. What advice would you give a content creator that's just starting out? They're like, they seen your work, they got inspired. Like, what advice would you give that person?
I would just say like, what's your motivation? Like, are you doing this because you want to be seen by other people? Or are you doing this because you genuinely like love to create things? Because like if you share what you're sharing and the validation or the value of your work is tied to like likes, views, and followers, then the value of your creation is going to die once all that engagement comes off. So if you're like truly wanting to like do well in content, like at least for me, I mean, I do more photography. So that's I feel like I suck at video. I hate doing videos, man. So kudos to you guys that do video. Um, but like from a photography perspective, I just feel like if you can uh just have fun like creating, because photography and even video, it's all about self-expression. And if you can express yourself in whatever it is you're doing, then you've already won. Like you don't need to worry about an audience. You don't need to worry about who likes you or who gives you this cosign or whatever. If you're happy with what you're putting out, at the end of the day, that's all that matters. Because if you're in that mindset that you're happy and you're enjoying what you're creating, the audience will come eventually. So just consistently create from a place of like passion and fun, and don't get bogged down by numbers, because I mean, those numbers could go away any day. Like some Meta could pull the plug on Instagram and Facebook and all that stuff tomorrow. And like, what would you have if you didn't have those platforms? Like, you can still create, and the value of what you create will still resonate with you and with other people without these platforms. So just keep it pure, I guess, is the motivation that I would, or the words that I would give to people getting started.
It's coming directly from an educator, y'all. Teaching the youth, shaping the youth. All right, so I know I said that was the last question, but like,
you're good.
I just have one more, just genuine curiosity. One album, one movie, or one piece of media, like it could be movies or TV shows, and then one sneaker.
Oh man.
Because you post some fire music when you like add like you add an image to like Instagram, you add some fire music, whether it be like The Alchemist or like, you know, some damn, I forgot his name as soon as I said it, but like you add great music. So I'm like, what's that album for you?
Yeah, so for me, like, I love music, and I'm not the best at like remembering like who's what and what song and what album. I need to do a better job at organizing that. Uh, but for me, one of my favorite artists of all time is Mac Miller.
Okay.
Rest in peace. His work was phenomenal. I felt like he was always mature in his lyrics and in his music beyond his age. And album wise, man, I don't know, because there's so many good albums.
We could take artists. We could take artists.
Yeah, I would just say Mac.
Yeah.
Just because I feel like so many of his albums are very different from each other. Because like his first one, Kids, like playful, youthful, you know, you got some fun beats, some fun stuff that he's going on about. But then as he gets a little older in some of his discography, like it gets a little bit more introspective, and you kind of get to see what's going on, you know, in his mind, especially like some of those ones that led up to you know, his passing. I don't know, it's just really, really beautiful to see like that scope of his career from when he started to like, you know, some of the later discography. So yeah, Mac Miller, that's my dude. Love his music. So that's that. I'll say that's my album, my artist is Mac. Film, that's tough too, man. Because like right now, my kids, all I watch are like kids movies. That's what's on TV all the time.
Roblox.
Yeah, like Roblox, whatever Disney animated movies on, like that's it. Man, films. I love a good Christopher Nolan movie, except for Tenet. That one still confuses me. That confuses me, man. It's good, but like
they just added it on Netflix. Go watch that. Tenet is a masterpiece.
That's a deep thing. You got to watch that like at least 5 times to like truly understand that one. But yeah, that man's a wizard. Like, I love all of his movies. I was talking with one of my friends the other day about it. I was like, I don't think that guy has any misses in any of his movies. Like, they were all really, really good. I mean, that Batman trilogy, that was at the time when that released, like that was good. That was really, really good. Man, I'm also a little bit of a nerd with like Lord of the Rings stuff.
I said it one day, I'm gonna go on a whole binge and watch every Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings movie. I just haven't done it yet. Never seen them.
Yeah, dude, I'd start with Lord of the Rings, me personally. Like my wife and I, before we had kids, I mean, we'd nerd out every like holiday break. We'd like, because they have the extended editions. They're like 4-hour long, you know, movies. We would just marathon through and watch all 3 extended editions, get like some food and just chill, watch those. Man, I mean, movies, my wife and I love to go to the movies, so it's hard to pick like, you know, cinematic masterpieces. It's just like there's so many good things that are coming out. And I can't think, I'm trying to think of the last movie that I saw that was like, yeah, I don't know. We saw Predator Badlands last night. That was actually pretty good.
Which is that's not the one with Leonardo DiCaprio, is it?
No, so that's the one like the Predator movie series.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, it's just a different perspective because it goes into like who this like species of like alien creature is. Like, what are these predator people? What are they about? So it kind of goes into their culture a little bit, which was kind of cool. because you don't really see that in the other ones. You just see like predator coming in, killing a bunch of people, and
Right. They
people
just
trying to
start
like survive the predator, and then they kill the predator at the end of the movie. Like,
it's
so
straight to
it was cool.
tussling.
Yeah, exactly. But
Hey
yeah,
man,
for
one
sneakers,
yeah, one sneaker.
oh, see, that one's tough because I feel like there's moments with sneakers, but then those like the value of those moments change over time, at least for me. Um, 'Cause I love my retros, but the older I get, man, I don't like wearing them as much because they hurt my feet. Hmm. I would say like in this one, like it's just because like just what it did, I feel like for like where sneakers are now. Like Union Jordan ones, the first ones that they did,
Mm,
Storm Blues. I know no one likes ones anymore, but like I remember when that shoe came out, I was like, this is insane. Like this is the most unique take I've seen on a Jordan 1. Like this is just absolutely crazy. And just the quality of that shoe and everything. Like that one, that's still probably one of my favorite shoes I have in my collection, those Storm Blue ones. So I'm gonna say those Storm Blue Union Jordan 1s.
I mean, those in early pandemic, those was reselling for a car. Low-key. So,
Yeah. Yeah, and funny story about those too. So I scooped up the Storm Blue ones 'cause I didn't get them on release. And I scooped them up off of eBay. And this was before eBay had any of their authentication guarantee stuff. And I was wearing them, and then someone was like, "Those look a little off." And I was like, "What are you talking about? They look a little off. Like I paid a good amount of money for these. I know they're not off." They're like, "No, they just look a little off. You might want to get those checked." So then I check them like on one of those online apps. Yeah, I got duped, and
oh
I know.
no.
So now those are my lawn mowing shoes.
Hey, I respect you for still keeping them though. You
Yeah,
could have been
I mean,
like, oh, you said you paid a lot. Oh, yeah, okay.
I paid a lot. Yeah, so I'm like, well, since they're fake, like I don't care about keeping these nice. Let's mow the grass. Let's get some grass stains on these things.
Damn. That's cold.
Yeah,
That's cold.
yeah. I was feeling a certain way when I found out that that's what happened. So, but then eventually, like I circled back and got the legit ones, and I have those now. So I'm like, careful, people. Even if it says authenticity guaranteed, like it's not guaranteed.
Right. You gotta pull up a YouTube video, fucking look at it, and
Yeah,
like
with the microscope out, look at the like stitching. Like, yeah, man, it's tricky.
now that stitching is like that one still holds up to be very true whenever I'm looking. Like the stitching has to be clean. And it's like once I see things are kind of like a little distorted or like warped, I'm like, okay, now I don't know about these. I
Yeah,
don't
unless
know.
you have like a legit pair that you know is legit to compare it to, it's really hard to catch these days, man.
Yeah. There's like that girl who's famous on social media because like
Oh yeah,
she'll
yeah,
like
yeah.
sniff the shoe and be like, yeah, nah, these don't smell right. And it's like, well, at that point, if you gotta smell them to like for them to be real, they're real sneakers at the end of the day.
Goodness, yeah. Like how are you gonna do that smell check on a used pair? Like I don't want to be
No.
smelling used pair of sneakers.
But it's been a pleasure, bro. Again, I've been following your work for a minute. I like what you're doing. It's like a breath of fresh air when it comes to like creativity with sneaker photography. And again, on my platform, I definitely just want to always give people they credit that they doing it. Like they are who they say they are. So shout out to you, man. I really appreciate
Thank
you
you.
taking your time out of your weekend to chat it up with me and then also share your experience with sneakers with my audience, bro. For real.
No, thank you. Thank you for having me. Conversation was fun. So definitely appreciate it, man.
But you already know how this go, man. Without further ado, like I always do, I will catch y'all in that next one. Then it gets awkwardly.
Yeah, it's like
But I love the way you work it. Ay, I love the way you work it for me.